What's up, everybody? Kobe with Amor IT Solutions. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about the differences between consumer grade or residential routers and business routers. Um, I as a business owner, what I have found is going to you know different clients, businesses. They tend to not always use the best routers for their companies. Oftentimes, they'll kind of go the cheaper route, installing what we call, again, consumer grade or residential routers like your Linksys routers and TP Link and D Link. Um, so on the screen here, I'll give you some examples. This is TP Link's site. Um, this router that's in front of you here that I'm circling here. I actually went to a client's house a few days ago, but it was residential. But this is one of the routers that he had. Um, as time goes on, they keep putting more and more antennas on these things. It's kind of crazy. I remember when, they had these wireless routers where there was just one antenna or two, but, like now they've got like seven, eight, nine, 10. I've seen antennas that go all the way around these things. It's kind of crazy, but give you kind of a view of what this router looks like. Um, your standard ports in the back. You've got your WAN, your internet port where your ISP gets connected to. And then this has four LAN ports that you would plug things in, like your computers or printer. This basically they tout that, this has tri-band 6 stream Wi-Fi 6E. Um, you know, the branding of this stuff just kind of makes me laugh because they really are just trying to advertise that these things are great for residential use, and a lot of them are really good, but they are not good for business use. Now, if you had like a very small office, then you probably would be all right. But if you're trying to put this in a, you know, 8,000 square foot building, you're probably going to run into problems with wireless connectivity. Um, I don't have one to really plug in to show you kind of like what the setup screen is or GUI screen. Um, but here's an animation here that they're kind of showing the connectivity that you would get with their routers. And you see that, there's 3 floors here and they've got the little character going up. And this is like a standard router on the left side. And then the right side is their actual TP link router. So on this side, the left side, you can see the guy going up and you could see the little bars there on top of his head. That's the Wi-Fi signal. You could see that, he goes from the lower floor to the second floor and there's an X there where he's having connectivity issues. And then I'm sure again when he goes to the top floor, yeah. And then on the right side again is their router. I'm not quite sure if they're. It looks like maybe they're showing the main router on the bottom floor, and then they're using like extenders on the other floors. And they kind of look like they're doing the same thing on the left side. Basically, they're trying to say that, with the extenders, that you won't lose connectivity with your phone or your laptop. Again, some of these routers are pretty good for residential, but they lack the functionality and the advanced features that you would need a lot of times with businesses, especially medium to large size businesses. So this is the GUI screen of the routers that we use. Primarily use Used to be Untangled, and then Arista bought out the company. But it gives you a lot of useful information. You can put the name of your company in here, different widgets. These things can be kind of moved around and add or subtract as many as you want. It shows like the uptime of 26 days, um, what type of processor that I'm using. I'm not using a standard router. I'm actually using a Dell. It's more like a Dell server um, equipment that I'm using as the router, but this is way overkill for what anybody would need, including myself. But I had it laying around, so I wanted to use it. Over here shows memory, disk space. This does have a hard drive in it. CPU load, so you can tell obviously I'm not doing anything right now, so you don't see a lot of traffic or anything going on there. Network information, how many clients are currently active, the maximum amount of activity that I've had over a set period of time, and then known devices that have connected to this over time. Um, Bypass sessions and sessions in total. Bypass sessions are, you can go into this router and basically configure it so that certain devices are not going through all of the like level 7 um, processes that it goes through. You got your firewall and application control and SSL inspector and web filtering, and you can have certain devices that you bypass with that. You don't want them going through all of that filtering. Sometimes it can cause some problems with other things you're trying to do. Um, and then in the network layout here, you see we have two internet connections. We've got a main connection that's a fiber connection with point broadband. And then the second connection is a failover. Basically, when our point broadband internet goes down, it will try several times to connect. And when it can't, it will fail over to our Brightspeed DSL. So, um, uh, let's see. Got a couple of different connections. We've got our normal LAN connection, and then we've got several VLANs, like a guest VLAN. Um, we have security cameras, so we have one for that, and then we have voice over IP phones and IoT network. So to kind of break this down, the guest network obviously is self-explanatory. If you've got people that are coming over and they want to connect to your Wi-Fi, and you don't want them to connect to your main wireless, you would put them on a guest network, and that separates them out from not being able to see other devices that you have, log into certain things that you have on your main um, VLAN connection. Video cameras, or security cameras, same thing. Just obviously having your security cameras on here, you kind of want that separated from other things on your main network. If you've got outdoor security cameras, you wouldn't want someone to be able to unplug one of those cameras and say plug a laptop into it and be able to get onto your main network. Um, that definitely is a security risk that you want to avoid. Voice over IP phones, I've got a VLAN for that. I only have one voice over IP phone that I use, but I did segment that off. And then the IoT network, that stuff that I put on like our dishwasher, thermostat, Alexis devices, all of that goes on IoT. And you can see right now there's 5 of those that are currently connected. What else is stuff that I could show off here? Let's go into applications here. So we've got web filtering. You can configure this to filter things on the web that you're surfing, and it can be um, really granular, user based. So, say you have a business where your computer you're logging in with, each employee logs in. Each one of those employees can have a different setup for, say, web filtering, to where maybe you've got people that are on your, let's say, accounting side, and there's certain things that you'll allow them to look up on the web and other things that you want to filter that they can't connect to, or your sales team. It's just a way of just kind of segmenting that stuff. I mean, I think we've all been there where you're at work and your boss tells you, hey, you're spending too much time on your phone and surfing, YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. Well, they can go in there by device, IP address, MAC address, or user login, and they can restrict you from actually getting onto those sites. So, an example is I block anything TikTok. Don't hate me for all those TikTok users out there that love it. Um, at the time, I didn't want my kids on TikTok all the time when they were here. So right now, I did have it blocked. Right now, it's just flagged, so you can get on there. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of TikTok. Let's see. Go back into here. Categories. Um, So with Arista, they give you quite a few categories of web filtering, and it's broken up into like groups. So you've got IT resources, miscellaneous, privacy, so legal stuff, government, health and medicine, legal, financial services, and then the description, so financial services, banking services, and other types of financial information such as loans, accountancy, banks, mortgages, whatnot. So if you didn't want someone, say you had employees that were on your sales team, okay, and you don't want them constantly checking their bank information on their company phone or company laptop or desktop, you could set these to flag, or you could set them to block. If you set them to flag, it would be basically flagging the administrators, showing which people were on these sites that were deemed inappropriate, and then you could have conversations with those employees, or you could just out and out block them from being able to access them altogether. And you've got groups for productivity, social networking, real estate, computer and internet security. What else? There's just a lot of stuff in here: hunting and fishing, sports, different search engines, music, motor vehicles. You've got some for under security, uh, key loggers and monitoring. So a lot of these is stuff that you're definitely going to want to block. You're not going to want your employees going onto sites that could download malware or ransomware, some type of virus on their computer. There are key loggers out there and monitoring programs that can self install onto computers that can cause problems, malware sites, phishing, um, using proxy stuff like VPNs and stuff, spyware, botnet, spam. So all this stuff can be flagged or blocked. Then you've got your sensitive groups, cult, um, drugs, adult pornography. So that's a big one. I've got mine blocked here. Again, and you got kids and stuff that like to get into all kinds of stuff. That's one way of trying to stop them. We know that kids are very smart nowadays, and they have all kinds of ways of trying to get around these things that you're doing. But when your dad's the IT master, makes it a little bit more difficult for them. So I'm not an IT master. I was just joking, sort of. Dating sites, Let's see, religion, gambling, marijuana use, hacking, weapons, um, hate or racist websites, violence, cheating, nudity, that it deems gross, nature, abortion, alcohol and tobacco, self harm, low THC cannabis products. So I haven't seen that before. They must have just added that recently. But anyways, there's a lot of things you can do. You can search for different terms to look up things, site lookups, block sites like I had spoke about before. You can pass certain sites through here that you want to be able to have certain people have access to. You can have different clients that you add on to here by like IP range or IP address. Got some rules that you can put in here, all kinds of stuff that you can do to, like I said, granularly um, make things kind of tighten things down or loosen things up for certain groups of people in your business or certain employees that you want to have access or not have access. Some of the other things they have like bandwidth control. This allows you to set limits of priority of internet bandwidth or speed. You can have it by different devices that you have, like you've got my Mac Mini here, the IP address, and then excuse me, it shows that I have it set priority is very high. Some things that I have on a lower priority would be things like, let's see, streaming Hulu or Netflix. Actually, those are very high priority, even though we don't have those in our house. We don't use these. I could set these at a different priority if I had, kids or something that were sucking up the bandwidth, especially if you had like slower internet speeds. Um, you don't want them sucking up all your bandwidth so that you can't do your basic stuff, like say you work from home and web pages are loading slowly because your kids are streaming Netflix or Hulu or playing video games. So this is a way of controlling these things. Um, you can also do it by website. So Windows updates, Pandora, again, Hulu, a lot of functionality in and bandwidth control. SSL inspector, that's a way of basically putting a certificate or a program on your computers or devices that every time that you're searching for things or going onto websites, it's basically looking to see if those, I guess, the validity of those sites. One, keeping a record of it for admins, of IT admins, but also making sure that you're not going onto websites that are harmful to your business. So, um, yeah, you can put, like I said, there's different devices over here, different programs like Facebook or Google or YouTube. A lot of functionality again with SSL Inspector. Um, Basically, if someone were to be looking up something, I might be able to show you. Um, I don't want to go too far down because it's got like stuff on here that's sensitive information. Yeah, it looks like the SSL inspector's too far down on here to show you guys, but um, well, actually, no, like web filtering will actually show it too. So I looked up a video game the other day and it shows that you can click on this and it'll kind of break down what devices are actually looking this up by IP address and whatnot. So you can see that it has my IP address of my Mac Mini computer, the date and time that I was looking this up, what server website I was hitting, the host name of my computer, what I was looking up, what I was querying, which search engine or which hosting was I looking up. So, like YouTube, and it tells you whether or not it's flagged or blocked, which in this situation it wasn't. So basically, it's going to show you a list. Like, I could probably give you like an example. So, if I typed in like tennis and I wanted to start looking up different websites and stuff, it's pretty much, if I can get to refresh and show. Of course, it's going to take some time to load onto here. But it would show in here, and if I could show you the SSL inspector, you'd see it for sure on there. Um, let's see if I can go back and um, yeah, I'm not gonna be able to show you. But anyways, trust me, it shows up. It is a way of being able to, like I said, see what people are looking up, what they're searching for. Maybe you've got that employee that is doing nefarious things, looking up pornography or something. You can see the sites and the dates and times in the computer. You know exactly which user it is. Um, and you can go and have a conversation with them. It also could be that maybe you have to let somebody go from your company because they're breaking company policy by looking these things up. It's also a good way of documentation in case legally they try and take you to court or something, and you could go back and show that they were breaking, company policy by looking those things up. Basic, you've got application control. This is more so like if you're installing different applications on computers and whatnot. Say for instance, you had like YouTube, Facebook, something like that installed on a phone, you would be able to flag, tarpin, or block each one of those things. And there is thousands of different examples that Arista has in here that you can use. You can also set up rules to where you could, if you added here, you could put like a description, like you could say Jim's Apple iPad, and then you could add conditions. You could do it by like a destination address, a port, um, destination interfaces, source address, source interface. You could have usernames that you could put in here if you wanted to block or allow certain people, employees with usernames that they log into, say like with their Windows computers, and you could restrict them. You could restrict them by MAC addresses, all kinds of stuff, URLs, quotas, say like they exceeded. You could do it so that they could only look up, say they could be on a certain application and only be on there for a certain period of time. So I think you can even set up time quota. So like maybe you let these guys have lunch breaks from 12 to 12:30 or 12 to 1. You could allow them to surf social media and stuff during those times, but off, during work times when they're not on break or lunch, they wouldn't have access to it. Let's see. I think kind of talked about WAN failover. I've got two different connections here. Um, it will go, you can go in here and this is a configuration. You can test it to make sure that you don't have some type of problem with your configuration for the two connections. But basically what it does is, so with my fiber connection, within 5 seconds basically of my fiber connection dropping, let's see if I get this right. Testing interval 5 seconds. So I think it tests it for 5 seconds 3 times, or like, actually, no, getting this wrong. Testing interval 5 seconds, and it times out for 3 seconds. And then the failover threshold is, I think it has to be like, I think up to 10 times. So once it gets to that point, it will then switch over to the DSL. Once the fiber comes back online, um, it will kick over from the DSL over to the fiber to your main internet. So it's nice if, business setting and you have to be connected pretty much all the time. Your internet goes down, you want productivity to continue on. So it's good to have that secondary backup connection. What else? VPN settings. They've got IPsec, OpenVPN, WireGuard, Tunnel. Um, these can be used if you've got, say, employees that need to connect to your business. Say they're away from the network, they're at a coffee shop or something, and they're out with a potential client. They've got their laptop and they need to access certain things, documents, pictures, videos. They could connect with one of the VPN services that you have on your router, and they would be able to have access to those files. Um, Tunnel VPN. I used to use this. I really don't use it anymore. I used to use private internet access for the tunneling VPN service. It allows you to be able to have every device on your network show up, say, at a different place. So, I'm in Michigan. Say I wanted to, anybody that was looking me up, you could put yourself in, I don't know, um, China, uh, Japan. And so even though you're here in Michigan, it looks like you're in Japan or in China or, you know, I don't know. I mean, pick a country. You pretty much any place you could think of, you could you could basically show that or make it look like you're at that place. So there's good and bad with that. I did have a time where I was trying to order something. It was actually an amplifier for a home theater system, and I was trying to buy it online, and I could not buy it online with my credit card. And I had to call the company, and they asked me, "Hey, are you behind a VPN?" And I said, "Yes." They said, "Well, we have safeguards for that. So turn your VPN off, and you'll be able to uh, have the purchase go through," and it works. So um, can help you, and sometimes it can it can it can not help you. So um, configurations. So I've got my point broadband as my WAN connection. Then I've got a LAN connection, and again my WAN 2 is my DSL Brightspeed failover, and then the VPNs are listed under here. You can configure these obviously to set them up. I'm not going to go into too much about like VLANs and stuff. Maybe I'll make another video on that shows the benefits of having um, VLANs on your network. So I think that's it. There's with these routers, these Arista routers, there's so much stuff that you can do with them. Um, Really, for kind of advanced users, I might do several videos of breaking down certain things that you can do and not do with the advanced settings with the Arista firewalls. Obviously, there's different ones out there. Cisco is a big one that everyone knows. Um, there's a ton of different firewalls out there. SonicWall. Um, I've used quite a few different routers, and I basically, when I started my business, I looked at several of them and I looked at what I wanted to use them for and the functionality of them and what I liked and didn't disliked. And then I kind of chose from there, and I just landed with, like I said, Untangled when I first got it. That was the name of the company, but now it's Arista. But anyways, I'm done babbling on about all this stuff. If you have any questions about business grade routers and residential routers and the differences between them, you can always hit us up at amoreitsolutions.com, or you can email us at info@amoreitsolutions.com. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. See you guys in the next video. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Kobe with Amore IT Solutions. I hope you liked the video. If you would like to see more of these videos, you can click the subscribe button and also click the bell notification, and it will notify you when any new videos come out that we upload. We're on social media, 3 different places: Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So go there and check those out and follow us on there. You can go to our website at amoreitsolutions.com, and there you can see all the services that we provide for our clients, whether it's residential or business. We have a blog page that you can check out. We post a lot of our experiences and repairs and installs that we've done with clients. If there's any work that you would like us to do, quote you, you can go to our contact page, and if you fill that out, we will get back to you as soon as possible. Anyways, guys, I really want to say thank you to all of our clients and all the people that have supported us over the years. We've been doing this since 2019, and we couldn't have done it without your guys' support. So I hope everybody is doing well, and we will see you on the next video.